also rise in support of the amendment before us. Hearing some of the conversation back and forth, this isn't brought forward to create a divide or pit two groups against each other. How I understand my position up here is to make decisions that are good for our constituents. And sometimes they're hard decisions. And I try to take into consideration what is going to do the most good for the most of my constituents. And I think this is a simple application to what we have before us. In no way, shape, or form is this to make a certain population feel isolated, and I know that maybe they may, and I would be more than happy to have conversations to address both concerns. Make sure that there is a place for individuals to compete where they feel comfortable, but while not doing so much damage to women's sports. Title IX was passed in 1972, I believe, and it was fought for. And just to a couple of years ago, when we were trying to get a wrestling program in North Haven, it didn't have one, and they weren't going to let it go through because of Title IX. They thought it was just a male sport, but it's actually a co-ed sport. And I think this is a great platform to talk about this. And I coached high school wrestling for 10 years. I wrestled in college. And how they determined it was a co-ed sport, in my opinion, is it's done by weight. It's done by size. So you're not going to have a large person wrestling a small person. It's a one-on-one sport. It's not a team sport. And it's fair there, right? Anyone who wants to compete in wrestling, they could do so, but they're within their weight, and it is safe for these children, these students, to participate. I have two children, my daughter, Giada, who is 12 years old, my son that's 10. And my daughter, for a period of time really would give it to my son when they would fight. But as Paulie got older, he realized he had to hold back. Even though there's a 2-year difference, Paulie could hurt Giada. Don't tell her I said that because she'd get upset with me, but it's the truth. And I would have conversations with him and talk with him and say, you can't hit a woman, you can't hit your sister. And he understood that. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is my son started to do youth wrestling, again, co-ed sport, and he had to wrestle against a female, and he did, and he won, but he said, I'll never do this again. He's like, I couldn't wrestle hard. It kills me because I really wanted him to wrestle and follow in my footsteps, but he won't, because he says, I can't wrestle 100% against a woman. I'm not going to hurt her. And I respected that. Now he plays basketball, and he's short, and I don't know how well he's going to do, but he tries. But it's a valid point. This is about making sure it's safe. I understand the arguments from both sides, and we need to make sure everybody's included and making sure no one feels isolated, but we have to take into consideration the majority of the people that are being hurt by this. That number is far greater than the number of individuals that unfortunately may not be able to participate in the sport that they identify in. And I feel that this is nothing more than common sense. And I urge that we support this. I thank you for the time. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you.